Welcome to Corporate Bhagavad Gita. There are prayers on my screen. Please repeat with me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धु वैष्णवजनतानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so welcome again. We'll continue with the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We were discussing on this Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, the four verses. So whole Bhagavad Gita can be squeezed into these four verses: 10.8, 9, 10, and 11. Four verses. That's why this is called Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita in only four verses. Okay. So we'll get into it. We'll read again. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samamvitaha. Everything comes from me. Aham, from me. Everything, sarvasya. Prabhavo, comes, source of generation. I am the source of generation. Krishna is saying. Mattaha sarvam pravartate. From me, everything emanates. Pravartate means comes out. Iti matva bhajante ma. One who knows this, they do bhajante. They do bhakti yoga to me. Buddha bhava samvitaha, with great attention. And they are the most learned people. So those who are most learned, they do bhakti towards me because everything comes from me. I am the source of everything and everything emanates from me. See, ultimately, everyone is trying to search from where from where this whole world has come from, right? The scientists and the spiritualists, even the atheists, they are all trying to resolve this question from where everything began, right? The atheists, they come up with certain speculation like Big Bang theory. They say it started with some point, it just bursted out, there's a bang, and still the universe is expanding. That is their explanation. The spiritualists, they look into the Vedas. In the Vedas, Krishna is saying everything came from me. So once we know whom it came, we will try to establish our relationship with him, right? If we come to know who is the owner of the factory, we will make good friendship with him. If we come to know who is the owner of the neighboring flat or the neighboring plot, we will make friendship with him, right? Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that's the reason, this urge in us is to find what is the solution. Sorry, what is the source? And Krishna openly says, I am the source. And other devatas also say Krishna is the source. And we will look at another command, which is Brahma Samhita. This was chanted by Sri Brahmaji, and in the very first verse he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. There are many Ishwaras. Among them, who is Parama? Krishna. How his body is Sachid Ananda Vigraha. It's very beautiful. It gives Ananda. It is full of knowledge. It's eternal. Anadir Adir. Anadir means there is no beginning. Adi means the origin. Govinda. Govinda has many meanings. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So who is the cause of all causes? Krishna is the cause of all causes. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. So anybody can say I am God. But there have to be other authorities which need to tell that yes, he is God or he is not God. So we have greatest authority, Brahmaji, telling that Sarva Karana Karana. Okay, so we'll get into it. This is important verse. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Okay, so once we know, okay, Krishna is the source, we will worship him. Actually, this word worship is not the right word. We'll do bhakti, devotion. And bhakti doesn't simply mean devotion or emotion. It is not just worship. It is with service, seva. Okay. There are many definitions of bhakti. There are 9 processes of bhakti. The one definition that we have is by Rupa Goswami. Um, okay. We will see later. A learned scholar who is studying the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual world. And because he knows this perfectly, he is firmly fixed in devotional service of the Supreme. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, Devatas. In the Atharva Veda, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, it is said it was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge. So various shastras should confirm this statement that Krishna is the origin of everything. So in this purport, we are going to see that thing only. Where all it is said, which Upanishad it is said. We looked at one that is Brahma Samhita. There is another that is Srimad Bhagavad also. Now in this purport, Krishna, Prabhupada and Acharyas, they are bringing Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Narayan Upanishad, so many of them. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again, the Narayana Upanishad says, then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana desired to create living entities. See, Narayan desires to create living entities. Nobody in the Devata will say like this. And Krishna is the source of Narayan. The Upanishad continues. From Narayan, Brahma is born. From Narayan, the patriarchs are born. From Narayan, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, 8 Rudras are born. From the Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayana is an expansion of Krishna. It is said in the same Vedas. Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. The son of Devaki is the supreme. Brahmanyo. Brahman. We have read this word, na? Brahman, Brahman. So Devak Putra is that Brahman. It's in Narayana Upanishad. It is said, Eko Vai Narayana Asi. It's okay. In the beginning, the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. There was no Brahma, Shiva, water, fire, air, moon, earth, no stars, nothing. This is in Maha Upanishad. In the Maha Upanishad, it said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of Supreme Lord. Thus, the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of the Brahma and the Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, in Mahabharata it says, Prajapatim sa Rudram chapi aham eva srijamya vai. Tau hi mam na vijanito mama maya vimohito. The patriarchs, the Shiva and others are created by me. Though they do not know that they are created by me, because they are deluded by my illusory energy. The Vara Purana also it said, Narayana paro devas tasmat jatas chaturmukha tasmat rudro bhavata devah sacha sarva Nyatyam Gataha. Narayana is the supreme Lord from whom Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. I think we read till here, so we'll continue. Lord Krishna is the source of all generation and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me. No one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned person. So he becomes a learned person when he understands Krishna as a source. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. See, this word fool means that they think Krishna is ordinary. Okay, so they are foolish in that terms. They may be learned in other Vedas and all that. Okay, they may be good people, but when they consider Krishna to be ordinary, then it is foolish. Like there may be some person, and he doesn't know who is the Prime Minister of India, and Narendra Modi walks and he says, "What is this common man doing here? Take him out of this line." Then what will you say? What will the
He's,
bodyguard say? What will other people say who know Narendra Modi? They'll say,
yeah, he's full.
"Tu pagal hai kya? He is the Prime Minister."
He's fine.
So in that terms, he is a fool.
Correct.
A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretation of Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. Okay. Next verse. Next Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Second. Machit Matgata Prana Bodayantam Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha.
So,
This is a amazing verse. Machita Madgata Prana. Chitta. Chitta means mind. The devotees, their mind and their lives are put in me. The prana, the mind, the life, everything is mother towards me. Bodhayanta parasparam. They are just talking with each other. Parasparam. Parasparam is a very common word. Parasparam. They are talking with each other. Kathayantascha mam nityam. About my stories, my katha. Nityam. Always. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In that they are pleased and they are enjoying happiness by talking all my stories only for eternally. Getting? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are full devoted to my service and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. We see so many sports magazine and Bollywood magazine, Hollywood magazine, and for every month they are printing, they're only talking about this actor, that sportsman, and sometimes they get some pleasure out of it, right? You see the sports commentator and all that, they get pleasure out of it. They're only talking about that. Then there are some who just keep talking about news, breaking news, 24 by 7 news. They may get some pleasure out of it, right?
yes, Prabhuji, too much of this these
Hmm.
days.
So what is the difference between their pleasure and the pleasure when we talk about Krishna? They are talking about people who are temporary. They will
Temporary.
live only one life, right? And next life they'll be different person. But Krishna will always remain the same. So here we are talking about eternal person who is supreme. He is the controller of everything. He is the source of all happiness. See, these actors, sportsmen, politicians, they have some happiness. They give some happiness. There's no doubt. Sports person, they play very nicely. They give happiness to the audience. Politician, they do something, talk something, they give some happiness to the people. Actresses, they dance, they sing, they talk, they do acting and all that. Some happiness they give. So the thing is, they give some happiness, but it is not eternal. It is not satisfying to heart. Like people go to 2 hours of movie. After coming from the movie, are they like completely happy? They will say, "अरे movie खत्म हो गया. Movie में मजा आ रहा था. No, I was getting so much happiness in the movie, but it ended." So they are talking about that they are having happiness on mundane platform. But this is spiritual platform. When we talk about Krishna, it is spiritual platform. So happiness will be eternal. Happiness will be giving satisfaction to the soul, not just the body, but to the soul, the Atma. Okay. Any comment? You had some comment to talk, something to say?
So far, okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just mentioning like the news and others. No,
Hmm.
this is a real nuisance these days, and
Yeah, true, true, true.
yeah, it's actually a headache. It's a headache.
Hmm.
We don't
We
get
don't
any
need so
better.
much news. We don't need
Yeah,
so much news.
it's a
Little bit
news.
is fine, but not so much. 24/7, no.
Even Prabhuji, little bit also. We are not getting little bit also. I mean, where to? Watch those little bit. We are not getting Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. True, true,
yeah, I
true.
tried several channels and nothing, nothing. So we altogether gave it up. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, try to control, I have also the same issues, but yes, the more we invest in Krishna, the more we will go deeper in Him. So this is
yeah,
our attempt. Once in a week, we are trying this attempt of investing our time, energy in Krishna.
yeah. This is best approach. Yeah,
Hmm. So this is the thing. We are also doing the same thing. You and me and others.
yeah.
We are talking about Krishna, and in this we are getting satisfaction and bliss. It is not like after this 1 hour we are crying and we are saying this is the most wasted 1 hour of my life.
No.
Right? We are
Yes,
getting enlightened in the knowledge
yes,
of
yes.
Bhagavad Gita, and we are getting happiness and satisfaction. See, this is pratyaksha pramana.
Yeah.
We don't have to prove it. It is just happening in our life. Getting
Prabhuji, just one comment.
what?
You can see this briefcase kind of thing here, no? In the presentation.
Briefcase.
No, no,
Ah, yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
here.
Okay.
So I was just trying. So what happens now if we try like we click two times, then this will go out.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So just in case, sometimes if you want, no, no, just inside. Anywhere if you click two times, then it will go inside only.
Okay, in my case, it is not going.
No, somewhere in other paragraph you click somewhere. Other
Ah, okay, went away. Okay, okay, thank you. Let's get into the purport. On these four shlokas, the acharyas have explained a lot. So these purports are going to be a little big in these four shlokas. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely based solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of
power,
pure devotee.
power cut, Prabhuji, my place. Okay, yeah.
The symptoms of pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So, a Shuddha Bhakta will be engaged 24 hours, but we are not Shuddha. So, what does this word Nityam means to us? What does this word Nityam means? Nityam for us means uh, minimum once a day. Hmm? At least
Hmm.
once a day, we should be engaging our
Understood.
mind in Krishna,
Okay.
in chanting, in discussing about Krishna, in glorifying Him, in doing kirtan. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And the mature state, they're actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can release the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are only few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get a chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed. If it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare.
That seed fructifies just as the seed fructifies with regular watering. So just like if we provide regular water, the seed will sprout into a plant. The plant will later become a tree. Similarly, this hearing and chanting will grow the bhakti tree in us. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into Brahma Jyoti refulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also the plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Golok Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as the plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 19. It is explained that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God, and then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact of the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, a devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. So all this thing is talked about the pure devotee. All the anarthas, everything is removed from his heart. He has bhava, he has prema, and then he cannot live without the Supreme, without Krishna for even a moment. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to devotees. Why we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam? Because it is Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Yad Vaishvananam Priyam. It is Amalam Puram, it is spotless Puram, it is eternal Puran. Puran, all the discussions of the Lord with the devotees, the interactions, everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Shuddha devotee, the neophyte devotee, Madhyama devotee, everyone likes Srimad Bhagavatam. In the narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, liberation. Okay, those narrations are free from these material activities, economic development, sense gratification, liberation. Nothing material here. Is only narration in which the transcendent nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotee is fully described. Thus, the realized soul in Krishna consciousness continuously takes pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl takes pleasure in association. Like a young boy and girl, they always want to be together only, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm? like uh,
Attachment, yeah.
before marriage, the boy and girl are just talking with each other, hours after hours after hours, right? But
Yeah.
the same is not seen after marriage.
Temporary, yeah.
Anyway, so similarly, our acharya prayed just like the young boy and young girl want to be together and talk about all kinds of things. My mind should be after you, Krishna, like that. He prays. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So now those who are doing bhajan, those who are doing devotional service with love towards me, what I give them. So Krishna reciprocates. What he says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam te yena mam upayantite. I give them real intelligence, buddhi, by which they can come to me. So they want to be me, and I will give them more knowledge of how to come to me. Getting?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how Krishna reciprocates. To those who are constantly devoted to me, serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. In this word, Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in second chapter, the Krishna instructed Arjuna, saying that he had spoken to him many things, but he would instruct him, and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained as Buddhi Yoga itself is an action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, and yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and take fully to Krishna consciousness in devotion service, his action is called Buddhi Yoga. So, intelligence, when used to achieve the goal, is Buddhi Yoga. So, when it is used in achieving Krishna through devotion service, that is Buddhi Yoga. That is nothing but Bhakti Yoga only. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is a process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One will know only this goal to Krishna only through devotees and acharyas. Okay? One should know the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life, but he is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in Karma Yoga. So right now we are in Karma Yoga. Why? Because we are doing karma. We are offering our results to Krishna. We are doing welfare activities for all. We are doing the karma in a detached way as a duty. When the goal of Krishna, when he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes the pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting Jnana Yoga. In Jnana Yoga, one leaves everything and is only studying and speculating about the Upanishads. Okay. And there when he makes the goal Krishna, then he performs Jnana Yoga. Otherwise, if his goal is not Krishna, then it's only Jnana. There's no yoga in it. But when he connects it to Krishna, then it becomes yoga. All the knowledge, if he connect it to Krishna, it becomes Jnana Yoga. Like that. When he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotion service, is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is complete yoga. When it is only for the purpose of devotion, then it is complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfection stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization. But if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. So within our heart, he will give inspiration how to come to him. And that is how Krishna reciprocates it. The qualification is that a person always engages himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of service, some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotion service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. So we have to be sincere and devoted to Krishna conscious activities, and then Krishna will personally take us back to Godhead. So sincerity is required. Sincerity is required. Okay. Next verse. Tesam evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashiyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvataha. Again, this is another reciprocation of Krishna. To show them the special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So we have darkness in our heart, meaning not like dark, but darkness of what? Darkness of knowledge, darkness of anarthas. And when Krishna comes, he is Surya Saman. And once we turn on the light, the darkness goes away. Similarly, Krishna comes and he shows the shining lamp of knowledge. He himself is bright. With that, everything which is darkness will go away from our heart. When Lord Chaitanya was in Banaras promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential learned scholar in Banaras at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. So he was a learned scholar and he said, what is this chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? Sentimental, I think. You should be serious, great person. What is this chanting, dancing? Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize devotees because they think the most of the devotees are in darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. They are not philosophical. That's why they think. But actually, that is not the fact. That is very, very learned scholars who have put forth the philosophy of devotion. In this Bhakti Yoga, there is big philosophy. And even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or his spiritual master, he is sincere in his devotion service, is held by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is one carrying out devotion service in full Krishna consciousness. So if one is doing this, then all the knowledge will come to his heart, even though he may not be learned. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in devotional service, even though they without sufficient education and without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, they are still held by the Supreme God as stated in this verse. So, not everyone is learned in the Vedas, right? None of us are scholars in the Sanskrit language, right? But because we have taken this path of devotion service, hmm, because we have taken to this path of devotional service, Krishna within the heart gives us all the knowledge that is required. Okay, so he defeats the Mayavadi argument that you need to first have knowledge. No, you start the process, knowledge will come through your heart. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personal Godhead simply by speculating, for the absolute truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for millions of years, and if he is not devoted, he is not lover of supreme truth, then he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth Krishna pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to contamination, I'll finish this paragraph and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
Due to contamination of the material association through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Krishna, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service and not by mental speculation or argument. So there are verses of this which will tell this. We will go through them. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotion service of the Lord, of the devotee. This is the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotion service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Can you just hold on? I'll just.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hmm. So we can understand Krishna only by devotion service. Krishna himself says this in Bhagavad Gita. Only by devotion service you will come to know. We will quote certain verses. Okay, this we read. Yeah, this was Bhaktya Mam Avijanati Yavam Chasyasmi Tattvataha Tato Mam Tattvo Jnanat Vistetat Anantram. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality, only by devotion service. Only by bhakti can one understand. Okay. So he says this in Bhagavad Gita itself. Only by bhakti can we understand. By making our mental effort and all that, we cannot understand. It will take millions of lifetimes, but it will be a failure. The ultimate goal can only be attained by this chant and by devotion service, not by mental speculation or argument. Okay. Arjuna Vacha. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradas Tatha Asito Devala Vyasah Swayam Chaiva Bhavishime. Now Arjuna speaks. He says, you are the supreme personality of God, the ultimate abode, the purest, the ultimate, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendent, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and you yourself are declaring it to me. So after hearing this Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita and 9th chapter and so many chapters, Arjuna says, you are the supreme, you are original, you are unborn, greatest. You are telling me this all, but the sages were already telling me this beforehand. Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa. These are great Rishi Munis. When they used to visit you, and I was sitting there, they were telling that you are the supreme, you are the supreme. And now you are yourself declaring it to me. So this is what Arjuna is trying to explain. He's not just saying you are the supreme because you say it. No, because even the Dev Rishi is also saying that. You see, it's not just Arjuna is saying you are the supreme. Even the Rishi Muni is also saying. And then Krishna also confirms, yes, I am the supreme. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to Mayavadi philosopher. For here it is clearly clear. The Supreme is different from the individual soul. Hearing the four verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personal Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality. And previously Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by His grace, Arjuna is accepting as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the supreme. So Arjuna is not flattering and telling, oh Krishna, you told me supreme, so you are supreme. No. Whenever Arjuna says in these two verses, is confirmed by the Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service to the Lord can understand him. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction. In the Kena Upanishad, it is said that Supreme Brahma is the rest for everything. Okay, before this, okay, somehow the mention is not given. It is not just Arjuna is telling you are the supreme to flatter him. No, he is saying this is confirmed by these Rishi Munis, Narada, Asitra, Devala, Vyasa. They are confirming it. In the Kena Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Brahman is the rest of everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mukunda Upanishad confirms that Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who constantly think of him. The constant thinking of Krishna is Kamaranam. One of the methods of devotional service. Only by devotional service to Krishna one can understand his position and get rid of the material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified of all the sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from the sinful activities unless he surrenders onto the Supreme Lord. Okay, I'll try to finish this up and then we'll discuss. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as supreme pure complies with the injunction of the Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by the great personalities of whom Narada is the chief. Yes, this is the point I was trying to say. Vedas do say Krishna is the supreme. Krishna is saying Krishna is the supreme. Arjuna is saying Arjuna is the supreme. Who is remaining now? The great Rishi Munis are remaining. And they also say he is the supreme. So now we have all kinds of proofs now. Okay, all ways it is proved. Krishna is the supreme personal Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him. Enjoy one's transcendent relationship with him. He is supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirms this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, and the histories. In all the Vedic literature, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord Himself says in 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, and for He is the cause of all causes. Everything is emanating from Him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here, Arjuna expresses himself to the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these two verses. It is called parampara system, acceptance of disciplic succession. Unless one is in disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible for so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those pride of these academic educations, despite so many evidences in Vedic literature, stick to the obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. So that's what I was saying, just being Sanskrit scholar doesn't help. We may stick to our obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. That is the foolish thing. Okay. This is another amazing verse. Sarvam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshavaha nahi te bhagwan vyaktum vidur devana danava. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth that all you have said told to me. Neither demigods nor the demons, oh Lord, can understand your personality. See, the Devatas and the Asuras both cannot understand Krishna. That's why the Asuras, they sometimes fight with Krishna. And the Devatas, they sometimes confuse with Krishna. Okay? Because who is the source of the Devatas and the Asuras? Krishna is the source. So how can they know about their source completely, right? No, right? Like our father, mother are our source. We can understand them to a certain extent. But can we understand them to full extent?
No.
That's what it is, because they are our source. But do they understand us?
But
Yes.
more than what we can.
Yeah. We immediately know what our child is going to do in a certain situation.
Yeah.
Right? Before even they're doing it, we know what he's going to do, what he's going to ask, what he's going to say, he or she. But can the children know what the parent is going to say? No.
No.
That's a mundane example, but still, it gives that understanding. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithlessness and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He's not even he's not known even by the demigods, the devatas. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of the modern world? By the grace of Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. And one should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita as described in 4th chapter, the Parampara system of disciplic succession. Now, Bhagavad Gita was spoken to,
Suryadev. Suryadev.
yeah, where it is said in the 4th chapter. Let's go there
Suryadev.
for a minute. Very first. इमं व्यवस्वते योगम प्रोक्तावान अहम अव्ययम व्यवसाम मनवे प्राह मनुर एका इक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवित. The personal Godhead Sri Krishna said, I instructed this empirical science of yoga to sun god Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed to Manu and father of mankind. Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. It was thus received in parampara, but this parampara appears to be lost, so I have come to give it back. So Krishna is giving this knowledge because it was broken. As described in 4th chapter, the parampara of the system, disciplic succession of understanding Bhagavad Gita was lost. Therefore, Krishna has re-established that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in the introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in parampara system. When the parampara system is lost, Arjuna was selected to regenerate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Just like Arjuna is accepting Krishna, if we also accept Krishna and follow in the footsteps of Arjuna, we'll be as successful as Arjuna. Okay, in all terms. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and only can we understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Swayam एवात्मन आत्मानं वेतत्वं परुषोत्तम भूत भावन भूतेषु देव देव जगतपते. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own eternal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So now Arjuna is saying, you know yourself perfectly. We don't know you. You're origin of everyone. You're gods of the gods. Deva Deva, Jagatpate, Jagannath. You're Jagannath. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demoniac and atheistic mentalities cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from Supreme Lord is a serious sin. Okay, if anything that doesn't come to this conclusion that Krishna is supreme and we need to surrender to him, discharge devotional service to him, then that particular speculation is actually a serious sin. It's a papa. It's an aparadha. One who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a statement of Krishna, and it is the science of Krishna should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood. It should not be received from atheistic person. We should not read Bhagavad Gita of an atheistic person. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said 1 to 11. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. There are 3 levels of absolute truth. 3 levels, or let's say 3 aspects. Brahmeti is Brahman, impersonal Brahman. Paramatmeti is Paramatma within the heart. And Bhagavan is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, whenever Krishna speaks, it is written as Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So the Vadanti Tattva Vidas. The tattva is there, na? Truth. It has three aspects, and the highest is Bhagwan. The Supreme Personal Godhead is realized in three aspects: the impersonal Brahman, the localized Brahman, and at last the Supreme Personal Godhead. So, at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the Supreme Personal Godhead. A common man, or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, may not understand God personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from verses of Bhagavad Gita, which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Krishna addresses him as Purushottama. Yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. Why these words are used? Because they indicate something. Purushottama, topmost person, Supreme Person, Bhuta Bhavana, from whom everything has come. And Krishna says this, everything came from me. So now Arjuna is using the same thing, applying it to Krishna. And if one comes to know that he is the father of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the supreme control. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhuteshu, the supreme controller of everything. And even if one knows Krishna as supreme controller of living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all the devatas also. So it's called Deva Deva, Deva Deva Jagatpate. And even if he knows him as the worshipful god of all demigods, one may not know him that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Everything belongs to him. So it's called Jagatpati or Jagannath. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by realization of Arjuna. And we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. Okay. Okay. We'll take this last verse. Vaktum arhasi asheshena divyahi atma vibhutaya yabhir vibhutir lokan imam stvam vyapya tishtasi. Vyapya tishtasi. Vyapya means how are you spread in this whole bhuta, vibhutir, in this whole world? Tell me your vibhutis, opulences. How are you spread in this loka, world? Tell me, Krishna. That's what it means. Tell me in detail your divine opulences, by which you provide all these worlds. How you are spread in this? So how is Krishna in everything? Okay, this chapter is Krishna in everything. And next chapter, 11th, is everything in Krishna. Okay. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of Supreme Personal Godhead Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agency, he has understood Krishna to be Supreme Personal Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general and the impersonalists in particular concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspects through his different energies. One should know that this has been asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. So we have this question. Okay, Arjuna doesn't have this question. Arjuna knows now he is supreme. But people will say, okay, he is supreme, then how is all-pervading? How is in everything? Right? Just like, there will be an owner of a factory and he has something like 50 factories. And one may ask, okay, if he is the owner, then how he is controlling everything in these 50 factories? Getting? How he is pervaded in the 50 factories? Can you tell me how a owner is pervaded in the 50 factories? Let's say a person has 50 factories.
Through his representatives.
Yeah, through his representatives, through the power that he has given them to these representatives, right?
Yeah.
So those are his opulences, vibhutis. Therefore, Krishna in this later chapter says like this, 16, 10th, we have to go to 10th. Hmm. So now in this universe, Loka, the Devatas are there, Aditya, Marut, Rudra, Yaksha, Vasu, General, Gandharva, everything, everybody is there. And the sages are there. The human beings are there, animals are there, philosophical truth is there, the nature is there, qualities are there, right? How is Krishna spread to that? Just like a owner has spread his power to the general managers of every factory. Similarly, the demigods, they have the king, Indra, and Krishna says, I am that Indra. So if the owner says, I am that general manager, isn't he right?
Yeah.
That's what Krishna is saying now. So this whole list is going to give after this. Hmm?
Prabhuji, this is very nice summary. What is this? What you are projecting
Ah.
is very nice.
Hmm. Okay. So we'll stop here. Next week we'll continue with the Vibhutis, 17th verse. Krishna. Okay, still doesn't start. Okay, okay. Why to know this thing? Because we have to think about Krishna, right? We see so many things in this world. We see the river, the sea, the water. How can I remember Krishna always? So Krishna, tell me. So yeah, we'll continue with this. Hmm? Any questions or comments?
Nice. Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. So we'll stop here.